something I heard all the time when I was advocating for the option to open schools were people telling me from the mayor's office, from council members saying, oh, but there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing we can do. You know, I had my state senator say, oh, I could get your trash day moved easier than I could affect anything at, you know, metro schools. And it just sounded to me like a big cop-out. It sounded like passing the buck.
Yeah.
And I think if you really, really care about our city and you really, really care about our kids, you will dive in. You will use your influence. You will use all your connections, get people together to try to help. And I think that metro schools has almost become kryptonite to our elected leaders. They don't want to touch it. If they touch it, they own it.
Yeah.
And so they're scared and they run away from the problems. And they won't even call out the problems, which we all know are there. So I think a mayor needs to help our kids, you know, dive in, do what you can. Own it.
Own it.
Own
like
it.
good or bad, it's mine.
If you want to reduce homelessness, if you want to reduce crime, look at third grade reading rates. If you want to increase income, look at third grade reading rates. Like education is a way to upward mobility. It's everything. We prize and value education so much in our country, and yet the elected leaders of Nashville won't touch it, won't talk about it, won't even jump into how they could help. I just think that's wrong.
Mayor Dean had proposed, along with David Fox, who is serving as my campaign treasurer when David was the chair of the Metro Nashville School Boards. They did propose a different governance model, feeling like sort of the governance of the schools and holding us accountable to a result was missing. It was a lot of excuses, hide the ball, change the standards, say, oh yes, we might be 95th on this, but really you're supposed to look at this where we're 17th, and you're like, that's not an
Spin.
Kids graduating,
It's a lot of spin.
Kids graduating, kids reading. Those are, you know, this is what we're working at. So we were asked, all of us were asked, you know, would you ever propose mayoral control of the school board? And everybody said no. They're doing great. Everybody's fabulous. Like it's totally fine. And I said, well, as the mayor, I'm responsible for the spending of our taxpayer money. If we're spending almost $1.3 billion, if they don't want to take responsibility, I will, you know, and the backlash that I got from that of, you know, you're not supposed to say that. And I think, like, if we don't say it, like, who's going to take responsibility for them? So I've already drawn a line in the sand. You got 2 years, and I believe it's possible because I've seen it happen. I've worked really closely with Alberto Carvalho at Miami-Dade on a lot of initiatives around music education and early childhood. We built a curricula for them to use music to help teach different literacy skills. And, you know, you could feel the passion and the energy of a school system that said, we are not going to give up on any kid in any city. And they went from F-rated to A-rated. And they did it, and it took about 8 years. They did it by moving all of the money from central office to the school site, and they did it by investing, saying every person who had a big central office job was going to teach kids.
Oh, love
that. Like flip the model and do
all hands on deck. Yeah. Well, you know, ideally, I am for more, you know, decentralized power. But I think if you look at our schools and you look what happened, especially in COVID, where we closed 8 months longer than all the ones around us, something's got to change. Something's got to give. You know, and just to be so hands off and like, oh, look away, no, it's fine. We all know that it's not fine. You know, our city's population is booming and our metro schools enrollment is decreasing. You know, our reading rates, like ask any parent with a child in metro schools, especially beyond elementary, you know, like we've got to do better for our kids, and we can. We can.
And then acting with an urgency, not the timeline of adults, right? My kid's only in third grade once. And so if you need 3 years to figure out how to teach somebody to read, my kid's already in sixth grade.